Ronaldinho has finally broken his silence on Lionel Messi after Argentina's gut-wrenching loss to Spain in the 2026 World Cup Final. And the way he's chosen to say it has half the football world talking, not a rant, not an interview, something far more personal and honestly, far more powerful. Stay with me, because in this video, I'm going to walk you through every layer of it. The result that broke a nation's heart, the award decision that has millions of fans furious, and the real reason Ronaldinho's reaction hits differently than anyone else's who has spoken about Messi this week. And I'm saving the most powerful part for last, something that happened over 20 years ago in a Barcelona locker room that explains everything you're about to hear. Trust me, you'll want to stay for that one. Let's set the scene. World Cup 2026 Final, MetLife Stadium, New Jersey, Argentina against Spain. Messi, 39 years old, playing in his third World Cup final, a record he now shares only with Brazil's Cafu. Think about that number for a second. 39. Most players his age are retired, coaching, or working as pundits in a studio somewhere. Messi was on the biggest stage in football, going up against a Spanish side that hadn't lost a single game all tournament. And Spain deserved it. Let's be honest about that. Luis de la Fuente's team dominated from the opening whistle, racked up nearly 20 shots to Argentina's 2, and pushed the game into extra time before finally breaking through. Substitute Ferran Torres scored the winner just 39 seconds into the second period of extra time, with Argentina down to 10 men after a red card. Final score, Spain 1, Argentina 0. Spain's second World Cup title. Messi's Argentina, denied back-to-back crowns by the narrowest of margins. When the final whistle blew, the cameras found Messi sitting on the grass, medal around his neck, staring somewhere past the stadium lights. That image, the mixture of pride and heartbreak on his face, is the one that's been replayed everywhere since. Because everybody in that stadium, everybody watching around the world, understood the same thing. That was probably the last time we'll ever see Messi play a World Cup final. Now here's where it gets complicated. Because even in defeat, even at 39, Messi finished the tournament with 8 goals and 4 assists, dragging Argentina through knockout rounds nobody expected them to survive. And yet, when FIFA handed out the golden ball for best player of the tournament, it didn't go to Messi. It went to Rodri. I want to be fair here. Rodri had an outstanding World Cup. He's a phenomenal midfielder, and he was central to everything Spain built. Nobody's taking that away from him. But ask yourself this. How many games did Messi single-handedly drag Argentina through? How many moments of magic kept a 39-year-old man dangerous against defenders half his age? Messi still finished with the silver ball, second place, and plenty of fans and pundits have spent the last 2 weeks arguing he deserved better. It's a genuinely split debate. Some say Rodri's all-around dominance for the champions earned it fair and square. Others say you don't hand the game's individual honor to a midfielder on the winning side over a 39-year-old who was still the single most dangerous player on the pitch. I'll let you decide where you land on that one. Drop it in the comments because this debate isn't going away anytime soon. But none of that is even the real story here. The real story is what's happened since, the quiet human reaction from the man who, more than anyone else alive, understands exactly what Messi just went through. Ronaldinho. Before the final even kicked off, Ronaldinho was already publicly in Messi's corner. He posted a lighthearted photo of himself relaxing in a bathtub, football in hand, mocking anyone who thought the image looked artificially generated. His caption, "The one who never needed a bathtub to bathe in the field." Classic Ronaldinho, funny, loose, but underneath it, a not-so-subtle message that he was watching and he was rooting for his guy. That's the part I want you to really sit with, because it's not just some ex-teammate wishing Messi luck. Ronaldinho isn't a random name in football's history. For millions of fans, he's the closest thing the sport has had to a magician, someone who played like joy itself, who did things with a football that nobody had really seen since Pelé or Maradona. And here's the piece of history that makes his reaction to Messi mean something completely different from anyone else's. Rewind to 2003. Barcelona. A 23-year-old Ronaldinho arrives at Camp Nou as the most dazzling player on the planet, fresh off a World Cup win with Brazil, signed for a fortune. He walks into a dressing room full of stars, Xavi, Puyol, Eto'o, and in the corner, barely speaking to anyone, there's a skinny, shy 16-year-old kid from Rosario, Argentina, Lionel Messi. It's well documented by teammates, by Barcelona staff, by Messi himself over the years, that Ronaldinho was one of the first senior players to actually take that kid under his wing. He trained with him after sessions. He treated him like he belonged. And by every account from people who were in that dressing room, Ronaldinho's warmth toward that terrified teenager mattered. It gave a painfully shy kid the confidence to start believing he belonged among the best players on the planet. Hearing Ronaldinho talk about Messi now, more than 2 decades later, feels different than praise from anyone else in the sport. It's closer to the way you'd talk about someone you helped raise. And that's exactly the tone he's struck in interviews and posts since the final. Pride, not pity. Admiration for a 39-year-old who's still doing things that defy explanation, and quiet respect for a kid who, as far as anyone can tell, never let fame change who he is. Picture what that kind of pressure could have done to a different kid. Messi could have become anything the money and the attention pushed him to become. Instead, teammates who've spent 2 decades around him say he's still the same quiet, unassuming person he was back in that Barcelona dressing room. Still hands the credit to his teammates, still keeps his circle small. Still, according to people around Argentina's camp, plays like a kid who just wants the ball. Maybe that's the part that matters most. Not the scoreline, not even the golden ball controversy. It's that a 39-year-old man just played in a World Cup final against a team that hadn't lost in over a year, and the story people are still telling 2 weeks later isn't about the loss. It's about what he means to the people who've watched him his entire career. So here's what I want from you. First, do you think Messi deserved the golden ball over Rodri, or was Spain's win enough to settle that debate? Second, how much of what Messi became do you think traces back to that Barcelona dressing room in 2003, to guys like Ronaldinho making a scared teenager feel like he belonged? Would he have gotten there anyway? And third, is this it? Was this final the perfect bittersweet ending to Messi's World Cup story? Or could we somehow see him again in 2030 at 43 years old? Let me know exactly where you stand in the comments because I read every single one. Messi lost a World Cup final. That part is true, and it hurts. But watch the way the sport has responded to him over these last 2 weeks. The tributes, the respect, even from the country that just beat him, and you start to understand that some things matter more than trophies. Titles get forgotten. Medals end up in a drawer somewhere. But the kind of respect Messi has built, from a shy kid in the corner of a locker room to the way an entire sport talks about him today, that doesn't fade. That's the story that's actually going to last.